Welcome to Designed for the Creative Mind, a podcast for interior designers and creative entrepreneurs to run their business with purpose, efficiency, and passion. Because while every design is different, the process should remain the same. Prepare yourself for some good conversations with amazing guests, a dash of Jesus, and a touch of the woo-woo, and probably a swear word or two. If you're ready to stop trading your time for money and enjoy your interior design business, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Michelle Lynn.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for being here. I want to introduce to you Sarah Masci. She is the CEO and founder of Day Rate Mastery. It's an online company that teaches expert service providers like you how to work less and make more with a streamlined VIP day business model. And Sarah, I'm so excited you're here because I've been so curious about this business model. It's been in the back of my head, like, how can I learn it? How can I teach it? What's going on? So can we start by just saying, what is this VIP day that you teach? Like, give me just the overall 30,000 foot short answer. Like, okay, go.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Excited to talk about VIP days. And
yes.
Big 30-foot view of what a VIP day is basically taking your services, your creative services that you're doing typically over a longer stretched out 6-week time frame, even a month time frame, whatever it is, and condensing it down, stripping out all the fluff, all the back and forth, all that like never ending, back and forth emails, whatever it is, compressing everything into one day or maybe 2 days, really. It could be a couple of days, but compressing it down into that VIP day intensive model where you're getting everything done or as much as possible done in one day. And you're charging a premium price for your day as opposed to that longer time frame.
That's crazy. Okay. So first of all, thank you for joining in there. I was just so excited. I wanted to hear all about it. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so glad you're here. Obviously, sometimes I get ahead of myself with these things that have me excited. How did you get involved in the VIP days? Like tell me a little about your background.
Yeah. So I have actually been an online business owner since 2005. And I really kind of started my journey just as a way to stay home. When my oldest son was a newborn, I just hated the idea of going to a 9-to-5 corporate job every day and having like no time at all with him at the end of the day. And so I was determined to figure out a way that I could start my own business, make money for myself, working from home with my son and eventually my subsequent 3 more sons. So I have 4 now, but this all started.
4 boys?
Yes.
Oh, God bless you, girl.
Ages 18 to 10. So it's crazy.
That's crazy.
But it's been quite the journey. So anyway, started, just trying to figure out how to do something, anything from home so that I could stay home. And I eventually, after a series of trying a bunch of different things, I wound up in branding, brand strategy, brand design, and web design. And that was around 2010 to 2012. That time frame is when I really transitioned into becoming a designer. And over the years, I had accumulated all of these great connections and, just through networking and doing all different things. And so I had clients lined up, ready to work with me. I always had a backlog of clients and I always had anywhere from 5 to 10 clients ongoing at any given time. And, just over the years, like that was great. I mean, business was great, but it just got to be too much back and forth and just never ending timelines. And so it was around 2018 that I was like, I have to figure out a better process. I have to figure out how to structure this client work more efficiently so that I'm not working round the clock on never ending projects. And so that's when I created my Book Me for a Day. That's what I called it, Book Me for a Day. And it was basically you pay me for one day and we get as much done as we can possibly get done on whatever it is that you want help with, whether it's your website or marketing materials or your branding or whatever. anything that fell into the range of the work that I do, I could do for you in a day. And so that was in 2018, and it has just evolved beyond my wildest dreams since then. And now I've kind of gone on to teach thousands of other service providers how to take their work and compress their work into a one-day model.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. And how does the pricing compare?
It's actually not too much different. Like if you are looking at, let me just give you an example. Like a typical like project, I maybe would have charged $5,000 for, but it's stretched out over the course of maybe 6 weeks.
Right.
Now I can compress that $5,000 project into 2 days, and I charge $2,500 per day, and I was charging $3,000 per day. So I basically made $6,000 for 2 days worth of work versus $5,000 for 6 weeks of like bite-sized work throughout those.
Sounds genius. Yeah. And then you're done and you can move on. So you don't have to think about the lingering details.
Yes, exactly. It's like mind freeing for you to be able to just wake up, start a project, finish it at the end of the day, and know that if the client needs anything more from you, they have to pay you for another day.
How was it to sell it to your clients?
Actually, they loved it. So
yeah, because they get their results so much faster.
Yeah, clients love it. They get to be part of. They love being involved in that one day intensive. They love waking up in the morning with nothing and going to bed at night with a finished project. They love the collaborative nature of it. They love getting it done in a day as opposed to having to wait. And, clients don't like the back and forth, drawn out timelines any more than we as service providers do.
Now, does this apply to all of your service levels?
Yeah. Like, can you explain what you mean?
So like in interior design, we've got the full service interior design, which, if it's renovations and stuff like that, it would not be applicable for a done in a day. Right. But if it is just like, hey, I need my living room furnished or something like that, then you could just go out and figure that out, make it all happen.
Yes.
And then turn that around in a couple of days.
Yeah, let me give you an example. One of my students is an interior designer, and we've been chatting back and forth in the DMs about how she's going to structure her VIP day offer. And what she did have was more of like a strategy, design clarity day, and that was going to be a day of like getting clear on the layout of the room, measuring like the dimensions, figuring out the use of the room, that kind of thing. And then from there, she was going to sell them into mini packages. But I said, why not just sell the mini packages, like kitchen makeover in a day, furnishing selection in a day, mini bedroom makeover in a day. So like little things. And really it comes down to the client is paying you for a day of your time, and whatever you can get done for them in a day, whether it's picking out, fabrics or doing measurements or doing a kitchen remodel, not the whole remodel, but
but coming up with a lot of the selections for a refresh.
Yeah. And so you can really plug anything into that model where they're paying you for a day and you're getting done as much as you can in that time frame.
And it's a premium because you're not looking at any other projects.
Correct. Yeah. They have all eyes and ears. I mean, we turn off social media. We shut down our inbox. We turn our phone off, and we are 100% focused on you and your project for 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever you decide you want it to be.
Right. That's amazing. So I think some of the benefits are going to be that you crank out these projects quickly and you don't have them, like you said, lingering, because especially like that last little bit of detail in any project is the least sexy to finish, because you're like, I'm so close to being done. I just need to finish this, la, 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 la. But then this other project comes up and it's sexy and you don't want to do the last of this other one. So that's a good benefit because you can just one and done and be out of there. You're making the same, if not more money, because the client, it sounds like they're willing to pay a premium because it's an expedited process.
Yep, exactly.
What other benefits are there that I've just assumed but haven't put into words?
let me go back to that first one you just said, where you're like, you get to the unsexy part at the end. And just speaking from personal experience as a web designer, those projects go on and on and on, and you're waiting and it's like that never ending back and forth. And by the time you get to the end of it, you are so like frustrated and pretty much resentful of the client. You're both kind of like resenting the whole thing. And so there's no happy client offboarding process. It's like, oh my gosh, thank God we are done with it. Move on to the next project. And you don't get that glowing testimonial. You don't get your Google business reviews. You don't, you just don't leave on a good note where you're like, hey, I would love to work with you again for your
or refer your business to you.
Yeah. You're just kind of like, oh my gosh, I don't ever want to talk to that client ever again. That was like so miserable. But with the VIP day model, and I noticed this right away in my testimonials, that those very first like handful of clients that I put into that 1-day intensive model, their testimonials were glowing, like raving. And all I needed was about 4 of those raving testimonials. And those testimonials on my website pretty much sold it for me for the next 3 years. I was able to keep selling more because people were like, this was absolutely amazing. Best design experience I've ever had. So efficient, so productive, like loved waking up in the morning and going to bed with a finished project. And
it's not long and drawn out, because I think for full service interior design, part of it is the experience over the long haul, because it is, you just can't do the renovation or the white glove service or whatever. But for those projects that are just a step or two lower than that, or a client who just needs it done so quickly, this is a great solution.
Yeah. I just speaking from experience as a homeowner, I would gladly pay someone to come in, spend the day with me, and help me knock out my bedroom. Help me pick out the furnishings, help me pick out the art, just like the details that I need.
Absolutely. And we oftentimes are buying our furniture from to the trade vendors, which is where we, as designers, we make a bucket of money doing that. But also, if we're getting a premium and we are just in and out, going through and making selections from retail and just giving them to you to manage, that's almost a dream, because it's like, here, give me some cash. I show up and then I leave and you're handling all of the details. Now, do you have any follow-up time? Like if you were my client and something was back ordered, could you reach out and say, hey, what's another solution? Because this has been back ordered for the next 80 years.
Yeah. So what I always recommend is it's really like a 5-phase process for a VIP day. So you're going to have the onboarding part, and then you're going to have the pre-work. So there's a period of time from when the client books you for the day, you send all your onboarding, your welcome, all of that. And then there's a pre-work phase where the client has to do a little bit of the legwork. Like they have to talk to you about their desires and their family, dynamics.
Right.
And then there's a kickoff call or a kickoff session or a kickoff where you everybody gets on the same page, review that pre-work, make sure you're good to go, and set the expectations for the day of the VIP day. Then you have the VIP day, and everything that happens in that day is whatever you decide you want to do in a day. And then you have the post-intensive time, and that can be 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, whatever you want it to be. For mine, personally, it was 30 days of post-intensive support where the client, I didn't do any additional work, but if a client had a question about any of the work that we did do together, I was available to answer their questions. Or in my case, because it was online, it was web design, like maybe they were like, how do I change this photo? And I was able to do a quick 2-minute video and say, here's what you need to do.
So you didn't leave them high and dry.
Exactly.
Sorry, dude. I already answered all those questions. Too bad you didn't take good notes.
Yeah. So I think that's really important, because people do get nervous when they're like, well, I only have 1 day with you. What happens if I change my mind? And so it's really good to have that post-intensive time.
Well, and that also allows for the sales process of a higher, more expedited rate, but you still have the support. You're not just going to go dark.
Exactly. Yeah. Clients love it.
Yeah, I can see why. That's very fun. So let's talk about the client. What characteristics make for a great client for the VIP day offer?
There's a few things. So the first thing would be a client that has more money than time. You've got to find clients who just want it done. They just pay whatever. They'll pay top dollar. They'll pay a premium price because they want this problem solved today. They don't want to wait 3 months to have their problem solved. So it's a client that has more money than time, and it's a client that has quick decision-making qualities.
Oh, right. They can't sit and think on it because they need to move today.
Right. The faster we move, the more we're going to get done. If you take an hour to decide on this one piece of furniture, that's all the less time we have to spend on other stuff throughout the rest of the day.
That's what I tell my kid. We're wasting time. We don't have time to read books before we go to bed. You only want one.
Yes, exactly. So they need to be quick, fast action decision makers. And the third characteristic that I always tell my students is make sure you're working with clients who are like 1 or 2 at most decision makers. Because again, if you get in a situation where 5 people need to vote on this thing, you're just going to drag it out. It's going to drag out. The biggest thing is I always say, especially in the creative space, when you're doing a VIP day, it can be very difficult to guarantee deliverables because of that exact thing. The client is going to have to say yes or no, or maybe, or let me think about it or whatever. And for all those clients who are like, let me think about it, or no, I don't like that. Can we see something else? No, I don't like that. No, I don't like that. Right. That's just more time lapsing throughout the day. And if you've promised them XYZ, we're going to get this done, this done, this done, this done, but then you have a client who's wishy-washy, but you've promised them a whole bunch of things and they can't make up their mind, then it's like you're into the next day still working on it because they took too long.
Right.
So go into it with I don't guarantee deliverables. This is what we can expect to achieve during the day, but it's all dependent on how responsive you are, how quick you are to decide on things, that kind of. Yeah.
That makes sense. So do you book a second day on your calendar just in case?
No, because I don't guarantee deliverables. So we're done at the end of the day. We're done at 4 o'clock, whether we finish everything that you wanted, everything on the list or not, we're done. And if you run out of time and you want me for another day, you can pay for another day. So the client could choose to book a second day.
But it's not the following day.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
I never plan to work the following day on a single day project because those are my boundaries that when I'm done, I'm done. And
yeah, it's a 1-day project, babe. I'm not putting 2 days on the calendar for you.
Right.
Especially if they see 2 days on the calendar, they're, I can take my time. No problem.
Right. Yeah. And one thing I will say, and I actually told a student this, she was like, how do I sell it without promising deliverables? And I know that's a huge question everybody struggles with. And the fact of the matter is you can sell it the way I just said, like, this is typically what we can do, but it's dependent on this, and this. But then you could also say, if you wish to not have any involvement in any of the decisions and you want me to make all the decisions and do all of the work and I just hand it to you at the end of the day, then I can guarantee we're going to get this, and this done because the client is not involved.
Right. So for interior design, basically, would you just sit in front of the computer and pull things together?
Well, as a non-interior designer, I'm not sure. Like, I guess however you work the best. Would you would you sit on Zoom with a client? Would you go to the client's home?
Right.
Would you do a whole bunch of work kind of on your own behind the scenes and present an assortment to the client? I mean, there's all different things. There's all different variables that go into interior design, and maybe some of the pre-work, maybe some of the client's homework is taking measurements. So you onboard them, they have to take measurements and fill out a questionnaire about their family's lifestyle. So you get that information so that you have everything you need to get started without them. And then halfway through the day, you say, okay, here's what I've come up with so far. What do you think of this? And you present it to them just like I would a web design homepage. Okay,
that makes sense.
Everything. What do you think? And then the client gives some feedback and then you kind of keep going back and forth throughout the rest of the day.
Yeah. And they could send some inspiration photos.
Yeah. Yeah. A mood board is also part of my process. Very similar to web design and branding.
Yeah.
Here's like the mood board, like all of that kind of stuff.
The color schemes, all of that. Yeah. We're actually redoing, I'm not sure when this is going to come out on the podcast, but I'm redoing my ML Interiors Group website, and it is very much the same thing. And I'm like, oh yeah, totally get it. Let me give you some good Let me give you the feedback that I wish I could get from my clients. That color, it does not feel happy. Right. Yeah. Versus I just don't like it. Oh, that's very good. So you could do this with any sort of service-based industry.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Who have you worked with? So you have interior design clients. What other sort of industries are you working with?
We've worked with a lot of done-for-you online digital marketing services. So just to kind of ramble off, web design, brand design, copywriting, social media managers, podcast editors, systems specialists, like people who set up Honeybook, Dubsado, CRM systems, funnel builders, course builders, all of those like online. Then there's bookkeeping, career coaches, health and wellness coaches, interior designers, home organizers. I'm trying to think. We've had so many.
Yeah, that sounds amazing though. Yeah. And how fun to be able to see all the different industries and potentially pull what's working for one into another and being able to continue up-leveling other people's businesses as they create these additional revenue streams.
It's been so fun. When I started my course back in 2019, my initial cohort of students were mostly web designers because that's who I was.
Yeah, that's who you spoke to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But then over the years, I was like, this course I don't teach web design at all in my course. I teach the model of doing how to structure this. And so I'm like, it's applicable to anyone. And so, like I said, we've served thousands of people now since 2019. And it's just so fun to see. And they also are able to kind of collaborate with each other now that they're like,
yes,
I do bookkeeping in a day. Oh, I do web design in a day. Okay. So then they start hiring each other, and it's just awesome.
Yeah. It's because they're trusted.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you've got your shizzle together because you did what I did. I understand it, even though it's a different industry. Let's collaborate however we can.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And you're developing a community.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that, Sarah. That is super cool. Well, I love to talk about all things business related. Like this, I could probably talk about and pick your brain for another hour. But in the interest of saving time and honoring time for you and I and our audience, let's dive into the next segment, which is a rapid fire Q&A. So it's a lot of fun. Okay. And it just allows the audience to get to know you just a little bit on a different level. Okay. You ready? Something fun. Okay. Let's start with, what is your morning routine?
Morning routine. I wake my boys up at 5:45 in the morning, my 2 high school boys, and get them out of bed. And then I come straight into I make my coffee, and then I get ready to work. From 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. are my best, deepest working hours. And then I help my littler boys get ready for school. And then I'm back at my desk at 8 o'clock. And I like to get a lot of work done in the morning. So nothing fancy, coffee, let the dogs out. And that's pretty much it.
There you go. That works. It's efficient and effective.
Yeah.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Math.
I have no words for that. If you couldn't be in the profession that you're in right now, what would you be doing?
If I could be in a different profession?
Anything other than this?
So the one thing that I've always been interested in and wanted to do is be an architect.
Oh, there you go. And there's your math.
Yes. Math and design and all of that. Yeah.
There you go. What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Cookies and cream or peanut butter.
Oh, yum.
Or together.
Yeah. There's really not a bad ice cream flavor. What is your favorite productivity hack?
Productivity hack. Well, I guess maybe I don't really have a productivity hack. I do Pomodoro. I do like co-working sessions with my students. We sit down for an hour, turn on the clock and go for an hour. So that I get a lot done that way. Well,
that, and even just from your 6 to 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
Get the kids up, hide, get work done. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Okay. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
gosh, I should have prepared for these questions.
No, there's no way to prepare. That's why they're just rapid fire Q&A. That's half of my fun.
Superpower would be to be anywhere that I need to be instantly.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Beam me up, Scotty. Okay. Do you have any tattoos?
Nope.
What would you pick for your last meal?
Mexican. Something.
Yeah. Something cheesy.
Yeah. Definitely. Yep.
What has been your least favorite job that you have ever held?
I don't have a least favorite job, but I would have to probably say my corporate job because I was just miserable being in a 9 to 5. I was working in utility management. So
there you go. Yeah. 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I get it. When was the last time you laughed until you almost peed yourself?
It's been too long, probably a few weeks at least.
It comes and goes, right?
Weeks and sick kids, and there hasn't been a lot of laughing.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a lot of fun.
I would say probably the last time we were with our group of friends, which was Labor Day weekend, so early September.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, girl, that little one needs to start feeling better so you guys can get out and make some fun laughter again.
Yes, this weekend. We're planning on doing some fun stuff this weekend.
Oh, good. Well, I hope you laugh until you almost pee yourself.
I hope so.
Okay, last one. What scares the hell out of you?
Not very much. Spiders.
Yeah, I hear you there.
Really, like spiders always used to scare me, but I guess not as much anymore. Now that I have 4 boys, I'm kind of immune to all of that. But I used to not go in my basement because there was like spiders down there.
Yeah, that's a good one to be afraid of. I'm with you there. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for being here today. I've loved hearing all about these VIP days, and you really kind of inspired some new thoughts on my behalf. That's super fun. And I know our audience has loved everything that you've shared. So can you share with them how they can connect with you, please?
Yeah. So I have a lot of different ways that we can kind of, I have a free checklist. If you're thinking about wanting to do VIP days and you just kind of want to dip your toe into it and see like what it's all about, I have a VIP day checklist. And then I also have a quick start program, which is like a $37, just like try it out, see if you like it. And if you don't, then it's $37.
Right.
So you can find both of those on my website at sarahmasci.com. And I also do have a free masterclass on there that you can find. You can navigate to anything from sarahmasci.com. If you want to connect with me personally and chat with me, Instagram is the best place to do that. And then my Instagram handle is just my name, Sarah Masci.
Awesome. And that's spelled Masci.
Correct.
But we'll make sure that all of that's in the show notes so that anybody who's driving and listening to this does not have to navigate without taking their hands off the wheel. So thank you. I'll definitely make sure all of those are in there. So for those of you who could benefit from even more resources surrounding the business of running your interior design business, join our growing community on Facebook's private group. It's called the Interior Designers Business Launchpad. And yeah, I know it's Facebook and not everybody's a big fan, but you could just create like a little ninja profile if you're not on Facebook and just come hang out with us because it's a great community. I go live once a week with some live training, and that's where we also hold our badass free 5-day workshops a few times a year. It's called Rolling in the Dough, how to qualify, quote, and close high-end clients while you're baking the profits into the projects. So come on over and visit. And in the meantime, thank you so much for being here, Sarah.
Yes, thank you, Michelle. This was wonderful.
Hey, y'all. If you love the show and find it useful, I would really appreciate it if you would share with your friends and followers. And if you like what you're hearing, want to put a face with a name, and get even more business advice, then join me in my Facebook group, the Interior Designers Business Launchpad. Yeah, I know, it's Facebook. But just come on in for the training and then leave without scrolling your feed. It's fun, I promise you'll enjoy it. And finally, I hear it's good for business to get ratings on your podcasts, so please drop yours on whatever platform you use to listen to this. We're all about community over competition, so let's work on elevating our industry one designer at a time. See you next time.